we were taught as kids, like brush your teeth and don't talk to strangers. And then there were the other rules. The ones that no one actually taught us, but we all followed anyway. Like, don't let your leg hang off the bed, step on a crack, your mom's back was done. If you swallow gum, it lives in your stomach for 7 years. Like, who started these rules? Was there a kid meeting I missed or something? Because somehow, every single one of us was living by the exact same unspoken laws. So today, we're finally talking about them. Let's do it. First up, let's talk about the bed. Because for kids, the bed wasn't just furniture, it was a battlefield. And every child knew the rule: do not casually walk up to the bed. You must run. Like the moment the lights go off, every kid went into survival mode. Suddenly it was like, okay, 3 steps back and go! Kids would do a full sprint, dramatic leap, and superhero landing. Because getting too close to under the bed felt like an automatic ankle grab from whatever demon was under there. Like to a kid, that little gap under your bed wasn't just a gap. It was a portal, a void, a wormhole, straight to the underworld where the demons would get you. Aww. Anyway, once you finally landed on the bed, you felt at peace. You were safe. And that's when the next rule started. The bed wasn't just a landing pad. It was a fortress, a safe zone, a protective bubble, but only if you followed the rules. And at the top of that list, do not, and I repeat, do not sleep with your leg out. Like, not even a toe, not even a pinky toe. For if you do, we all knew that the monster under your bed would grab you. Because every kid had the same thought. If even one molecule of my foot leaves this blanket, I'm done. Because the second anything crossed that border of the blanket, boom, straight to the underrealm. And what's kind of funny is no kid actually questioned this rule. Like, why does the monster only like feet? Why not arms? It was honestly just an accepted fact. A childhood fact. Like, honestly, kids would literally be sweating under that blanket like a rotisserie chicken before they would ever consider putting a leg out. Because at the end of the day, it was better to suffocate than get grabbed by a weird monster with a foot fetish. And once kids survived the bed jump and the leg grabbing demon, the next battleground was the bathroom. Because for some reason, every kid believed that the shower curtain was hiding a criminal behind it. Like, kids would walk in, turn the light switch on, and immediately switch into FBI mode. So they'd go up to the shower curtain, swiftly rip it open to usually reveal nothing. Because honestly, there was never anything there. It was an irrational fear, but we all had it. But kids always had to check because you never know. We didn't want to risk it. Now let's talk about food laws. Because kids acted like they were running some sort of underground health department. Let's start with how we all believed that swallowing gum would make it stay in our stomach for 7 years. A kid would accidentally swallow a piece of gum and freeze mid-chew, like they'd been shot with a tranquilizer dart. Their eyes would go wide in panic, and then the announcement would come. Guys, I swallowed it! So then the entire friend group would act like a medical emergency had just started. People would gasp, back away, and just like be panicked. They'd be like, bro, you have 7 years left. Start saying your goodbyes. And the kid who swallowed it went into full-on crisis mode. They'd be pacing around the playground just contemplating their life decisions. Honestly, it was full-on panic. Then came the seed myth. Kids treated fruit like it had some sort of biological consequence to it. Like one wrong swallow and your entire future was ended. If a watermelon seed went down the wrong way, kids acted like they had just signed up for parenthood. Congratulations, you're pregnant with the watermelon. And then the panic always hit instantly. A kid would stop chewing, stare straight ahead, and slowly put their hands down to their stomach like they were feeling for movement. The whole ensemble. They'd start imagining roots forming, roots growing around their ribs, leaves bursting through their shirt, just like everything. Kids genuinely believed that they were about to become a full-on watermelon. And now, we can't forget about the 5-second rule. Like whenever food hit the floor, everything stopped. Because we all knew that you only had 5 seconds to grab that food before the germs took over. So then, the ritual started. The kid who dropped the food, they'd do a lightning bend down to pick it up as fast as they could. Because again, once those 5 seconds passed, everyone agreed that that food had turned into poison. And once they picked it up, they'd look at it and start blowing on it. Because apparently blowing on your food gets rid of all the little bacteria that were on it. It sterilizes it somehow. That's definitely not true, but we all do it. So then suddenly the food turned into floor trash into a 5-star gourmet meal. All because we were able to pick it up in less than 5 seconds. Because kids generally believed that germs acted like some sort of cartoon villain that threw their hands up and said, "Dang it, they picked it up before 5 seconds. We've been neutralized." Now let's move on to the living room, because even that had its own set of rules. It could be a perfectly normal day. Sun shining through the blinds, cartoons playing, nothing dramatic happening at all. And then, out of nowhere, the atmosphere shifted. Something in kids' brains just flipped. A tiny voice whispered the most dangerous sentence in childhood history. "The floor is lava!" And that was it. Instant chaos. And the floor didn't gradually warm up either. No. It transformed into molten, boiling lava within like 0.2 seconds. No countdown, no briefing, no time to prepare, just boiling. 1 second kids were just walking normally, and the next they were just trying to bounce onto any furniture they could. Like couch cushions, they somehow became lava resistant, and kids just really wanted to get onto them. They were the safe zone. The coffee table, that became a little safe point. The armchair, base camp. Because everyone knew that you could not be on the floor when the floor was lava. And then there was the emotional law. Never, ever leave a toy behind. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. This one honestly hits different because it wasn't about monsters or the floor is lava. This was about loyalty. Kids treated their toys like tiny plastic friends with emotional lives. If a toy got left in the car or dropped outside, it instantly turned into a rescue mission. Kids would sprint back like they were storming a battlefield, convinced that the toy was crying and shivering, just alone out there. Because in a kid's mind, toys absolutely had feelings of their own. Like you leave one toy behind, and the guilt, it's unreal. Kids would imagine the toy just sitting alone in the dark like, "Wow, that's it? After everything we've been through?" And even a toy falling off your bed in the middle of the night felt like personal failure. Kids would wake up, see it on the floor, and whisper, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." And not gonna lie, I kind of still feel this way about my stuffed animals. Moving on, let's talk about the outside rules. AKA, if you see a hill, always roll down it. Like, no hesitation, no thinking, you saw that thing, and you were tumbling down it like a tumbleweed. Like, literally, a kid could just be standing at the top of the hill normally, and then suddenly decide, "Yeah, I'm throwing my entire body down that thing." And once the rolling started, there was honestly no stopping it. Kids would tumble down that thing like loose laundry in a dryer. Grass in their hair, dirt on their face, limbs flinging around like crazy. And once they hit the bottom, they'd stand up all dizzy and wobbly like a newborn deer. Yet, they'd have the audacity to say, "Let's do that again!" Like, I remember one time I rolled down a hill way too fast. I had completely underestimated the slope. And halfway down, I realized I wasn't slowing down. I was accelerating. There was no way that I was gonna be able to stop rolling because I was going so fast and it was just picking up speed. It was then that I started to panic because I was like, "Oh my gosh, I am for real not slowing down here." Like, woo! I'm about to fly off the face of the earth right now. And keep in mind, I was trying to stop. I was trying to do anything I could with my limbs to just help slow it down. But it didn't work. What did slow me down though was a bush. I was basically catapulted into a bush. So yeah, I basically slammed into a bush and I came out looking like a wild squirrel. I was disheveled and in immense pain. Low-key worth it though, because rolling down hills was pretty fun. And then we had the most sacred law of all. The pinky promise. Like, honestly, a pinky promise wasn't just a pinky promise. It operated like a full legal contract in the kid world. It honestly carried more authority than any written agreement, any adult contract, and honestly just any government document ever created. Because when two kids locked those fingers together, you could never break it. For if you did, that wasn't just a small mistake. It was a catastrophic betrayal. Basically, if someone broke one, they were dead to you. They were out of your life. They are no longer your friend. Because again, a pinky promise, those mean business. Honestly, those should be used in like court or something, because I swear, people take pinky promises more seriously than actual documents. And then we had the rule that can turn any calm moment into a full-on foot race. The rule that could break friendships and trigger absolute chaos with just one sentence. That's when there's a rotten egg! egg! That phrase, it had power. It didn't matter what kids were doing. They could be coloring, eating a snack, playing outside, doesn't matter. Because the second that phrase left someone's mouth, every kid within a 20-foot radius turned into Olympic sprinters. Kids ran like their entire reputations depended on it. Like being the rotten egg wasn't just being a rotten egg, it was like social failure. Like kids would honestly act like the loser would actually morph into an egg. Anyway, moving on, let's talk about the classics. For example, never ever step on a crack or you're gonna break your mother's back. This rule turned every sidewalk into a high-stakes obstacle course. Kids would walk like undercover agents trying to jump over laser beams. Because one wrong move and there goes your mom's back. Broken. Like the pressure was just insane. Because kids would be walking down the sidewalk, look down and realize, I stepped on a crack! And obviously instant panic would ensue because now you felt guilty and you were scared that you actually broke your mother's back. So the kid would speed walk home like, Mom, please still be standing, please still be standing, please still be standing! And then there was also the no swimming after eating rule. This one had kids convinced that the second food entered their stomach, they became a drowning hazard. Adults acted like kids eating food automatically turned them into like wet cement bags that would just sink to the bottom. Like one chicken nugget, and the kid was banned for swimming for 45 minutes. Like they just ate an entire Thanksgiving feast. So the kid would just stand there looking at the pool, unable to go swimming. Meanwhile, their stomach's just like,
bro, we're fine. It was literally one chicken nugget.
Honestly, adults were just dramatic, but everyone knew this rule, so we all followed it. So yeah, childhood is basically a mix of fear, imaginary danger, and chaos. Let me know down below which rules you followed the most as a kid, and thanks so much for watching. Bye!